It's very important to understand that when it comes to our mental health, it's not just mental. Our ability, our mind's ability to function properly and function optimally piggybacks so much off of our state of physical health. My name is Keith. I'm a holistic health coach. And in this video, I'm going to talk about 6 physical health practices or 6 practices, habits that seem more in the physical domain, but that really directly benefit and will help to improve our mental health. And before I go into what they are or expand on these things that you see here, I want to just say that all that I'm going to discuss with you comes from my experience. This all comes from my experience. One of the most important things to understand about mental health is that it's not just mental. It's not all mental. It doesn't just come down to the brain and brain chemistry and our genes, but really our ability and our mind's ability to function properly and function optimally relies heavily, piggybacks off of our state of physical health. If you're new here, my name's Keith. I'm a holistic health coach, and in this video I'm going to talk about 6 things that appear to be or are generally considered to be physical health practices, but really have a direct benefit and can really help us to improve and optimize our mental health. And before I go into expanding on what these 6 things are, I just want to say that these all come from my own experience. I've had various struggles with mental health, especially early on in my life, kind of lingering and underlying issues. And then I had a couple experiences where I faced some really dark and deep depression, one that led to a serious drug addiction. So what I'm going to talk about, yes, there's research showing this. Yes, you can find these things, but there are also things that I can say personally work, and they've all been a part of what has helped me to go from living in a way, living as a person, living a way of life that just wasn't fulfilling and where I wasn't happy, to a place where I couldn't ask for anything to be better in my life. So getting started, the first one is about the sun. And I'm gonna keep these short and simple and basic so they can just be takeaways, but my suggestion is, number 1, don't underestimate how simple they are, and don't undervalue them because they're free. Because it's tough when we don't have to pay for things to actually get ourselves to value them, but I promise you all of these things are powerful. The second thing that I would say, I don't actually remember what the second thing was going to be, but if I remember it, I'll express it. But yeah, let's just start with number 1, the sun. The first part of this is as soon as we wake up in the AM, to walk outside and get sunlight in our eyes. And you don't want to stare directly into the sun unless you can see it just coming up on the horizon. This would be called sun gazing. But look just below the sun and allow the rays to penetrate your eyes. And what this does is, it'll help give us energy through the day, but this is actually what starts our sleep cycle. This actually signals to our body it's time to wake up, start doing the things, creating the hormones that are necessary for our daily activities. And then we have these clocks in us called circadian rhythms, our circadian or biological clocks, that when they get signaled like this to start, it's very important that happens. There are other benefits in terms of hormonal balancing our hormones, and overall health that just getting out in the sun is really good for. And yes, in the AM, right when we rise, sun for about 3 to 5 minutes, just staring in that direction. And if you can get your bare feet on the ground, this is even better. This will help to ground you. There's many benefits of grounding and earthing. You can look that up if you'd like. The other part that I just added here is exposure. Optimally, we want to get at least 20 minutes of sun exposure with as little clothing on as possible. Even if you live in a place where you have a fence or something like that and you can go outside naked, that's even better. Sun on your genitals and private parts and all of that, all the better. But as much as you can be exposed, you're going to get more benefit. But at least 20 minutes a day. And a lot of the stuff about the sun being harmful is not true. It's not that one-sided. And it's actually very important for many things to do with physical and mental health. The second one is quality movement. And I think this is different than just exercise, just working out. And all of this stuff depends on context, right? So there's no one way to just say for this person, this is the right thing. For that person, this is the right thing. It all depends on where we're at, what else we have going on in our lives. And to me, quality movement is movement and exercise that fits us and our lifestyle with exactly where we're at. And for some people, especially if we're not used to exercising or we're really out of shape, walking is the best way to go. Same thing could be said if we have physical health issues, or we live a really stressful life. Walking is amazing, regardless of whether we work out more intensely or with weights or not. I think it's really important to try to walk every single day. If you have a dog or an animal, that's what got me into walking. I have a dog, and it's such a beneficial practice. There's so much, there's plenty of research showing the benefits that it has toward mental health, and even compared to like mental health medications, which I'm not a big fan of. I think there's a lot of side effects, and you look into it, it's not that obvious that they're any good. But there's actually research just showing that even walking every day with no stimulation, no phone or anything like that, is as effective to help with depression as any type of medication has been shown to be. In addition to walking, if we are living a lifestyle where we feel we can handle more strenuous exercise, weightlifting is great. Doing anything that gets us the heart pumping, gets us sweating a little bit, and just gets our body moving. We're meant to move as human beings, and you'll see that most of what these things are, yes, they help with mental health, yes, they help with physical health, but what they help with more than anything is connecting back to what it means to be a human being. And as human beings, we're supposed to be healthy. We're built to be healthy, but it's just really difficult in the modern world with the toxicity of it and our habits and all that stuff. But all this stuff is like connecting back with nature and our nature, and just the things that we're inherently meant to be doing to live as the fullest expression of ourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. So quality movement, again, if you feel like you can do more than walking, 3 to 5 times of some sort of more strenuous exercise is really good, and that's going to benefit health all around. The next one is proper hydration, and what this looks like, we want to start off the day by having 1 to 2 glasses of the best water we can get. If you can get a filter like a Berkey, that's your best option. Bottled water is better than tap water, but regardless, drinking some water and adding a pinch of sea salt for some minerals first thing upon rising, that helps to get the body going. We get dehydrated overnight. It's also very important for many different things, energy and appetite and all that throughout the day. But we essentially, throughout the rest of the day, we want to drink half of our body weight in ounces of water. So take however many pounds you weigh, divide that by 2, and drink that many ounces of water per day. And if you're not used to drinking water, you may have to work up to it. But it's a really big one. Hydration is huge. Hydration is extremely important. And if you're not used to being hydrated, you're going to notice a big difference. And much of what people determine to be anxiety or extreme anxiety is dehydration, stress, dehydration. Not that those things aren't there, or that there may not be reasons sometimes, but that the reason that they become so overwhelming and unbearable or feel that way is because physiologically, our body is also under stress because we're not hydrated, we're not feeding ourselves properly. That's a whole nother story, which I will make additional videos on. But just being hydrated is a huge step. Try drinking water. Replace some of your drinks or all of your drinks if you can. If you're working out, more or heavier or sweating, or you work a laborious job, you definitely want to drink more than half your body weight. But that's kind of the sweet spot where we can start. The next one is breath work. And this is a really unique one. And without understanding the mechanisms of why these things work, it can seem like how would this benefit mental health or physical health? But what breath work does is it helps to stimulate the vagus nerve, which is very important for the body to get into what's called a parasympathetic state, which we have the sympathetic and parasympathetic. The sympathetic is our fight or flight. That's when we're stressed out. And what ends up happening when we're in that state is that our brain stops working as well as it would normally. Our digestion shuts down. Our detox mechanisms shut down. There's a lot of things that, you want to be in that state, and sometimes in actual danger, but the way that we live in the modern world, we're stressed out about things that aren't actually life-threatening, but we're responding as humans, or like what's happening inside is a response as if we're in life-threatening danger. So stimulating the vagus nerve helps to get us into a parasympathetic state, and that's where our body is healing, regenerating, resting, relaxing. That's where we can feel calm. So just doing breath work, there's various different methods that you can practice. You can look up different breath work practices. The easiest one, and you can do this everywhere, anywhere and everywhere. What I do is I have alarms set for 9:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 3:30 p.m. that just pop on my phone, just saying vibrate, or just vibrating, that say breathe. And the breathwork technique is extremely simple. You breathe in for 4 seconds through your nose. You hold it for 7 seconds. I'm not actually going to hold it. And then you let it out for 8. Breathe in for 4, hold for 7, breathe out for 8. This will right away give you a sense of calmness if you're stressed, but it's also going deeper, and it's working on your body in a way that it's hard to stimulate that without doing something like this. So it's very beneficial. And if you were to just do 5 of these breaths a couple of times a day, that's a great start. Just when you're sitting around, when you're driving, when you're doing something where you can kind of bring in some sort of breath like that, it's really going to help. And especially over the long term, it should be part of a daily habit. All of these things really need to just be daily habits. And these are the things that allow us to go from just not feeling good and not really knowing why to feeling amazing, because we're getting a natural high, which is the way that we're supposed to feel, that we're not used to feeling because we've never really understood how to live in a way that makes us feel good. So the breath work, 4, 7, 8. The other important thing about that is you need to breathe through your nose and into your belly. And I don't even know if this will be on camera. I'll try to stand on my tiptoes, but the way we're really supposed to breathe to signal calmness, to breathe properly, is in through our nose and into our bellies first. So belly expands, and then we expand up through the chest. That's a proper breath, and practicing that has a lot of benefits. If you ever look at a newborn baby or a child that hasn't lost its ability to breathe and move properly yet, you'll see they are just breathing into their belly. And I don't want to add too much onto this, but just doing that throughout the day, even if you're not doing 4, 7, 8 breath, just focusing on breathing into the belly and having some piece of awareness there, it will help to take your mind and the stress off of other things. It's extremely helpful, and it's the easiest mindfulness practice to be more present. And just remember, when you're present, you're not anxious, you're not worrying about what's going to happen. When you're present, you're not depressed, thinking about what could have been different or like not feeling good. It's not a cure-all, but the more that we can learn to be here, now, it's going to make our lives better. We're going to feel a lot better. The next one is cold showers. And this is another one. What cold showers do is they stimulate the vagus nerve. And cold showers for me have been a huge thing. Like I said in the beginning of the video, there have been times in my life where I've really faced dark depression. That was a while ago now. That's been a good almost 10 years, about 10 years. Recently, though, over this past winter, I used to live in Florida, and this winter I lived in Pennsylvania, and just the lack of sunlight, and I kind of lost touch with, I was really busy with different things. I lost touch with certain things that I knew I should be doing. And one of the biggest things, I started feeling a little bit low. Like I could just tell. I felt like I was getting depressed, and it came out of nowhere. It wasn't something that I was used to. And one of the biggest things that I started doing was incorporating cold showers again. That was one of the practices I had kind of gotten away from. But cold showers help to reduce inflammation, which a lot of the newer research and ideas around depression are that it's caused by inflammation, or that's one of the triggers. Something to understand, I should have mentioned this in the beginning of the video, but is that there's plenty of very smart, well-educated people, plenty of good research that's showing that most of the mental health issues we experience, they're not diseases, they're not just disorders of the mind, they're symptoms expressing themselves of deeper issues, physical health issues, which there can be so many different things that we're not aware of. But we need to understand that there's many causes of mental health issues that are not just your genetics went haywire, sucks to be you just get depressed, that's in your genes. I don't believe it's that simple. I don't think that's how it works. And I say that from, again, my experience and what other information is out there besides the mainstream, which a lot of it unfortunately supports and points to medication, which is a huge industry. It's very profitable. So kind of a random tangent, but important to know for sure. And it's important to consider just being open-minded about these things and looking for the truth in both our own experience and opinion and what's out there, because there's always something deeper. But cold showers, they help with inflammation. You'll notice it's one of my favorite things to do, because as soon as you get out, you feel better. You feel really good. You feel charged up. And what cold showers do is they send fresh blood to all of your organs, helping your organs to stay healthy, because your body gets so cold. In order to preserve the organs, it rushes all the fresh blood away from your limbs and to your organs. That's really healthy thing. And then there's many mental and cognitive benefits too. And even just getting yourself to say, you know what, this is going to be uncomfortable temporarily. I'm going to do it anyway because I know I'm going to feel better after. That can carry over into other aspects of life, and that's really important. It can be difficult to just start taking full-on cold showers. My suggestion, and the way that I started, was to do alternating hot and cold. So you get in hot, you get comfortable, maybe put shampoo in or whatever you're going to do, and then turn it cold and just leave it cold as you can stand for like 30 seconds. Go back to hot, soap up your body, turn it to cold, 30 seconds. Do this 3 or 4 times, back and forth, and end cold. And by the time you get to the third or fourth one, it's not even going to feel cold. Your skin starts to like tweak out from the temperature changes, and you really don't even feel it. But when you get out, you'll feel really good, and it's really worthwhile. And look it up. There's further, maybe I'll do a video specifically on cold showers, but there's plenty of research and additional benefits that make it a worthwhile practice. The last one is sleep. And sleep is like our greatest healer as human beings. The more that we can learn to optimize our sleep, to value our sleep, to consistently get good quality sleep, the better our lives are going to be. There's two things that I like to kind of point out about sleep. Number one is that if the benefits of sleep came in a supplement form, every single person would be taking that supplement, without a doubt. Sleep is miraculous, but we undervalue it so much. We've learned to kind of like grind and just get shit done and sleep with whatever 5 hours you can get in, if that, because it's about productivity and all these things. But the secret is that nothing in life, doesn't matter if we have $1 million and we're fulfilling our dreams and we're doing what we believe we want to do, if we're not rested, if we're feeling shitty, if we're feeling fatigued, it doesn't even matter. We can't enjoy it. Anything that happens in our lives that's not, or that's challenging, is 10 times more challenging when we're tired. Anything that happens that's good is 10 times less fun and enjoyable when we're tired. It's just so important that we learn to value sleep and what it can do. And you take a lot of these things. How many people are getting sun? Very little. How many people are moving in the right amount, not too much, but getting enough? Very little. How many people are properly hydrating themselves? Not many. How many people are doing things like this? Very few. Add on unhealthy diets and not getting enough sleep. There's no surprise that we're seeing so many health issues, physically and mentally. So for sleep, understanding that the more, I'm looking at my bed right now, but the more we can optimize, number one, getting 8 hours of sleep a night, a minimum, 7.5 to 9 hours. That's the pocket, the sweet spot. Most of us need around 8 though. And then on top of that, optimizing the times. The earlier we're in bed, or like the sooner we're asleep before 10:30, but by 10:30, that's when all these processes kick in to regenerate our mind, to regenerate our body. And if we're not asleep, a lot of the energy that would be used for these things is diverted elsewhere. And for most people in the modern world, for a long time, we've been lacking that period between 10:30 and maybe 12 or 1 a.m. So it's really important to start getting that in if we can. And then trying to wake up at the same time every day, or right around the same time. For me, I think between like 6 and 6:30, I try to keep it 6 or 6:15. But getting that habit is really important, again, for our rhythms. And this is like full circle. A good night's sleep starts with sun in your eyes in the AM, and a good day starts with a good sleep. But it'll be a lot easier to fall asleep, and we can get into that state where our body is producing sleep chemistry when we do this, when we get sun in the eyes. But also an important thing is to reduce the amount of light that we're exposed to at night. Think about just what we're designed to be as human beings. We're supposed to be outside and getting light during the day. This is how we evolved for a long time. And we're supposed to be in darkness, maybe firelight at night. Firelight is good. Red light is good. But it's the reverse for most people. We're sitting under artificial lights all day, not getting sun. And then at night, where it's supposed to be dark, we're doing the same thing. We're under lights that are signaling to our body and brain it's daytime, or at least it's not nighttime yet. So reducing the amount of lights that we're exposed to, you can get... I'll be right back. You can get a pair of blue blocking glasses. I wear these every night. You put them on once it gets dark outside, and this filters out the blue light, which is signaling to our bodies daytime, wake up. So these are very much worth it. And on Amazon, you can get like a cheap pair, like even the ones that are meant to protect like somebody using a saw or something, electric saw, or soldering, whatever you want to, or whatever it would be. Those ones will work that are orange, but they're very cheap. They will help you to sleep better. From the start, when I started using them, I noticed that I would get tired earlier, like be in a more relaxed state, just yawning, like naturally, just like, oh, it feels really good to lay down and go to bed. I'm ready for that instead of being all stimulated. So one of the many things that can help with sleep, especially in a world where we've kind of lost touch with that. So obviously I'm a big believer in sleep, ranting about this, but it's very important. All 6 of these things are important. Combined and stacked together, they're even more powerful than any alone. And they can all be done with what you're doing right now, with the way that you're living your life right now. Like, this doesn't take that much time. You already shower. You're already going to have to sleep. You already have to put some sort of liquid in your body. Movement, that might be, one that we have to adjust our schedules for. But even taking a couple minutes out in the beginning of the day to do that, you will notice a difference, and it's so worthwhile. So that's it for this video. I appreciate you watching. I hope the content was helpful for you. If it was, I'd appreciate it if you liked the video. That helps me. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And if you have any questions or would add anything to the list, feel free to place them in the comments. And if you're in a position where you feel like you need assistance reclaiming your health, optimizing your health, optimizing your mind and body, I do coaching, and I'll put a link in the description for a free, we do it like a breakthrough chat, I call it, but just to get an idea of where you're at and what may be most beneficial to help you moving forward and see if we'd be a good fit to work together. I also have a guide that I put together that it contains a couple of these things. It's called Hack Your Way to a Higher State, and it's simple, natural biohacks, you could call it, that help us to get into a better state of physical, or a more energized physical state, a clearer mental state, and overall, they're very powerful things that I've used and can be very helpful. They're things that I very much believe in, and I believe most of them on there are free as well. So check that out if you want. But yeah, again, thank you for watching. I appreciate you spending the time here, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.